everyone, welcome back to Brighter Minds Academy's YouTube channel. Today we're going on an amazing journey inside our body. We're going to talk about our circulatory system. That's right, in this video we will talk about the circulatory system in detail, emphasizing important functions, the journey of blood, and so much more. Now without wasting any further time, let's dig right in.
Is it maths? Or science? Or even languages? All made simple at Brighter Minds Academy.
Now before moving on, we need to understand the circulatory system. Well, it's like your body's very own delivery service. Imagine a busy city with roads, cars, and packaging being delivered everywhere. In your body, the blood vessels are the road, your blood cells are the delivery trucks, and the packages are the things like oxygen and nutrients that your body needs to live. Moving on, let's talk about what blood is. Well, blood is the medium through which the body requires transportation of nutrients and so much more. Coming back to blood also has certain functions to perform and maintains a certain pH level, temperature, and osmotic pressure. Now, what is an osmotic pressure? It is a type of pressure or a force that pulls water towards the blood. Okay, imagine you have a juice box with a straw. If the juice inside is super sweet, lots of sugar, and outside there's just plain water, the water will want to move into the juice box to even things out. That pulling in power is kind of like osmotic pressure. And it is very important because it keeps the water inside the blood, preventing the water from leaking and making your body swell. Moving on, the blood transports nutrients, hormones, gases, and so much more. Now the blood is made up of four things: plasma, white and red blood cells, and platelets. Let's discuss this in detail. Let's talk about plasma. Plasma is the protein-rich fluid that carries everything together, and your blood consists mostly of plasma. Adding on, we also have a certain cells such as white blood cells, which acts as a bodyguard inside our blood and fight any foreign material that enters the blood. On the other hand, red blood cells or RBCs are the cells that carry oxygen in the blood. They're biconcave, which allows them to carry more oxygen and helps them to move into smaller veins. Red blood cells also have hemoglobin, which binds or attaches oxygen molecules to cells. Moving on, let's talk about platelets. Platelets are tiny fragments present in the blood that helps in blood clot. They play a vital role in healing. But before we move on to talk about veins, let's talk about some terms, which are oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. Now, oxygenated blood is blood rich in oxygen or oxygen molecules. At the same time, deoxygenated blood is blood rich in carbon dioxide or carbon molecules. Now that you know these terms, it will make it easy for you to understand the topic of veins. Let's talk about veins and their types. Well, there are three types of veins: arteries, and capillaries. Now we have talked about capillaries somewhat in our previous video, but let's talk about all of them in detail. Let's start with arteries. Arteries are veins that carry blood away from the heart. They carry oxygenated blood to capillaries and are the thickest vein compared to all other. But on the contrary, arteries also carry deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs for the blood to get oxygenated again. And this vein is known as pulmonary artery. Remember that arteries always carry blood away from the heart. Moving on, we have capillaries, which are very tiny veins that go throughout our body and transports oxygen and carry the deoxygenated blood to the veins. Now, veins are the ones that receive deoxygenated blood from capillaries and carry it back to the heart. Veins also have similar concept to arteries. Veins carry oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart for further pumping. this vein is known as pulmonary vein. To make it easier for you, veins always carry blood to the heart. Now, I hope you got a clear understanding of these veins and their roles. So let's talk about the process of circulation. The heart pumps oxygenated blood to the arteries, and then the arteries transfer that blood to the capillaries, which transfers that blood to other body parts and take that deoxygenated blood to the veins. And then the veins carry all the deoxygenated blood back to our heart. Now, it is also important for us to know what happens to blood inside our heart. So now let's discuss the journey of blood. When the blood comes back to the heart, it is low on oxygen. The blood then enters the heart from two veins, the superior vena cava, which brings blood from the upper body, and the inferior vena cava, which brings blood from the lower body. The blood coming through these veins enters the right atrium, which squeezes and pushes the blood through tricuspid valve. Now, valves are gates or flaps that separates different chambers of the heart and prevent the inward flow of blood. Coming back to blood, after going through tricuspid valve, it enters your right ventricle, which is also a chamber of heart that pushes the oxygen-poor blood through the pulmonary valve into the pulmonary artery. And guess where does this blood go? To the lungs. That's where the blood picks up the oxygen from. Now, after getting oxygenated again, the blood comes through the pulmonary vein to the left atrium. Moving on, the blood is pushed into the left ventricle through mitral valve. Now the blood is ready to be pumped out of the heart. Therefore, it goes through the aortic valve into our arteries and then throughout our whole body. This is the journey of blood inside our heart, and it happens all the time with every heartbeat. Now let's discuss some important parts of the heart and label it. So there are four chambers: your right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. Moving on, there are four heart valves, which are tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve, mitral valve, and aortic valve. Now, the chambers also plays a crucial role in preventing the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood from mixing. And sometimes people have holes in their chambers, which makes it harder for the heart to separate blood. Coming back to labeling, there is your inferior and superior vena cava that brings the blood in. And then these two veins are your pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein that brings and takes blood to the heart from lungs. Adding on, we have one more vein that carries blood outside from the heart after getting oxygenated again. Can you guess the name? Yes, it is your artery, which is located over here near aortic valve and has extremely thick walls as the blood goes from a lot of pressure since the heart just pumped it. Now it's time to recap what we learned in this video. We talked about blood, which has plasma, the protein-rich fluid, platelets, which makes the blood clot, and the red and white blood cells, which carry oxygen, and the other protects the blood. Now, blood also has certain functions such as maintaining certain pH level, temperature, and osmotic pressure. Moving on, we talked about veins. Well, there are three types of veins: arteries, veins, capillaries. Arteries carries blood away from the heart. Capillaries takes blood from the heart and goes throughout our whole body into tiny places in the body and deliver oxygen and then sends the rest of the blood to our veins. Now the blood travels back to the heart through our veins. Our arteries are the thickest veins inside our body. Now we also discussed the journey of blood inside and outside the heart. The blood comes to the heart from the veins, specifically superior and inferior vena cava, and enters the right atrium, which pushes the blood throughout the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. Then the blood goes through pulmonary valve into the pulmonary artery to the lungs. After picking up oxygen, it goes back to the heart through the pulmonary vein into the left atrium. Then this atrium squeezes and sends the blood into the left ventricle, passing from mitral valve. Now the blood is ready to go out of the heart. It passes through aortic valve into our arteries. This is known as the journey of blood. This ends our unit on circulatory system.
I hope you got an excellent overview on our heart and the whole process of circulation in our body. If your loved ones need tutoring lessons for any subjects from grade 1 to 8, please contact us on our email address given below for more information. Thank you very much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay happy and eat healthy.